The quaint town of Willow Creek was known for its old-world charm. Cobblestone streets, gaslight lamps, and charming little shops lent an air of timeless romance. One moment the sky was clear, a gentle breeze rustling the leaves on the ancient oak trees lining the street, and the next, fat raindrops began to fall, splattering on the pavement like 1,000 tiny drumbeats. Emily, caught unaware, quickened her pace. She had just stepped out of the cozy book nook, a worn paperback clutched in her hand. Her laughter at something the bookstore owner had said still lingered in the air, a testament to her sunny disposition. She loved the rain, but not when it threatened to soak the book in her hand. Across the street, Daniel saw her predicament. He had been watching her from across the street, drawn to her infectious laughter and bright smile. She seemed to radiate sunshine even on this unexpectedly wet afternoon. He held back for a moment, unsure, then decided to act. Grabbing his own book, a well-worn copy of Wuthering Heights, he dashed across the street. "Need some help?" Daniel asked, his voice a warm baritone that sent a pleasant shiver down Emily's spine. He held out his umbrella, large enough to shield them both. Emily looked up, startled, then a smile bloomed on her face. "Oh, thank you," she said, her cheeks warming under his gaze. "I didn't expect the rain." He grinned, a charmingly lopsided affair that crinkled the corners of his eyes. "Neither did I," he admitted. "I'm Daniel, by the way." "Emily," she replied, tucking a stray strand of hair behind her ear. The rain intensified, a steady rhythm on the canvas of their shared umbrella. They fell into step beside each other, their walk home becoming an unexpected shared journey. As they walked, Daniel told her about his passion for classic literature, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. Emily, enchanted by his passion and the easy way his laughter filled the space between them, shared her own love for stories that transported her to other worlds. Their hands brushed as they walked, sending tiny sparks up Emily's arm. She noticed the way his hair curled slightly at the nape of his neck, the way his eyes crinkled when he laughed. She found herself wanting to reach out and touch the faint dimple on his left cheek. Daniel, too, was drawn to her. Her eyes, the color of warm chocolate, held a depth that intrigued him. Her laughter was like a melody, and the way she tilted her head when she was lost in thought was endearing. He felt a connection he couldn't quite explain, a pull towards this girl he had just met. The rain showed no sign of abating. As they neared the town square, Daniel gestured towards a small cafe with a striped awning. "Let's wait out the downpour," he suggested. "A cup of coffee sounds perfect right now." "Perfect," Emily agreed, her heart skipping a beat. They ducked under the awning, escaping the rain's insistent drumming. The air was filled with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and the soft murmur of conversation from inside the cafe. The cafe was warm and inviting, but Daniel suggested they stay outside. "The air is fresher here," he said, looking at her with an intensity that made her breath catch. They stood close, the warmth of his body a comforting presence so near. Section 5, a moment suspended in time. The rain created a curtain around them, a world of their own. Time seemed to slow down, every stolen glance, every accidental touch amplifying the unspoken feelings that crackled between them. Emily found herself captivated by his gaze, her heart pounding a wild tattoo against her ribs. He leaned closer, his voice a soft murmur against the symphony of the rain. "You have the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen," he confessed, his gaze holding hers captive. Emily, lost in the depths of his eyes, felt a blush creep up her cheeks. The air thrummed with unspoken emotions, the silence filled with their shared breaths and the steady rhythm of the rain. He tucked a stray strand of hair behind her ear, his fingers lingering on her cheek. The touch sent shivers down Emily's spine, and she knew in that instant that this was no ordinary encounter. Section 6. The First Kiss. A Revelation. As if in a trance, Daniel leaned closer, his breath warm on her cheek. Emily's heart pounded in her chest, a drumbeat urging her closer. Their eyes met, a silent question passing between them, and then his lips were on hers, soft and tentative at first, then deepening with a passion that took her breath away. It was a kiss that tasted of rain and coffee and promises whispered on the wind. The world around them faded away, the only reality the feel of his arms around her, the warmth of his body pressed against hers, the intoxicating feeling of his lips moving against hers. Time stood still. Emily, lost in the wonder of their kiss, felt as if she were floating, adrift in a sea of emotion she couldn't even begin to name. It was a kiss that spoke of unspoken longings, of a connection that ran deeper than either of them could have imagined. Section 7. Lingering warmth, shared laughter. When they finally broke apart, breathless and flushed, the rain had softened to a gentle drizzle. The world seemed to shimmer, renewed and fresh. Emily, still reeling from the intensity of their kiss, looked up at Daniel, her heart overflowing with a happiness she had never known. He was looking at her with such tenderness, such wonder, that she couldn't help but laugh, a sound of pure joy bubbling up from within her. He smiled back, his thumb gently stroking her cheek. "What's so funny?" he asked, his voice husky with emotion. "Nothing," she replied, shaking her head. "Everything. This rain, this moment, you..." His smile widened and he leaned down, his forehead resting against hers. "This is just the beginning, Emily," he whispered, his words a promise against her skin. Section 8. A Promise Whispered in the Rain. They stood there for a while longer, hand in hand, watching the last of the rain disappear. The air was filled with the scent of wet earth and the promise of a new beginning. Daniel's hand felt warm and strong in hers, a reassuring presence that chased away the lingering chill of the rain. "I should probably get going," Emily said, her voice reluctant. A part of her wanted to stay in this bubble of warmth and newfound intimacy forever. Daniel, however, seemed to read her mind. "Walk with me," he requested, his voice soft but insistent. "It's on my way and I'm not quite ready to say goodbye yet." Emily, her heart soaring at his words, readily agreed. As they walked, they didn't talk much, but the silence between them was comfortable, filled with unspoken promises and the sweet anticipation of what the future held. Section 9. Hearts Entwined, a love story unfolds. And so, what began as a chance encounter on a rain-soaked afternoon blossomed into something precious, a love story for the ages. The memory of their first kiss under the shelter of a striped awning would forever be etched in their hearts, a reminder of the day their lives changed forever. The rain-washed streets of Willow Creek had borne witness to their love story, a testament to the magic that unfolded when two souls destined to be together found each other on a day that began with a sudden downpour and ended with the promise of forever. They knew with a certainty that defied logic that this was just the beginning of their own love story.